ever notice it's never just one thing, right? It starts small, a question or a weird detail, something that didn't quite add up, and then suddenly it's not a moment anymore. It's my favorite word. Put it in the comment section if you already know what it is, but it starts with a P. But what you're looking at, man, let's just go ahead and hold on for a second. I'm going to take y'all to the other screen just so we can get some context. Oh, I brought y'all back. Let's get some context going. It says, breaking. I don't even know how you say that middle name, but Sheila-McCormick has begun hiding comments and locking replies on her posts after being exposed for editing out the $109K yellow diamond ring she bought with stolen FEMA funds. Government officials should not be allowed to hide comments and lock replies. So we editing photos now. You're not gonna edit no statements? Not policies, not headlines, but photos. Man, these Democrats' priorities be everywhere but in the right place. Like, everywhere. You know, you got a 6-figure ring, and instead of explaining it, you just tried to erase it. That ain't a mistake. That's instinct. That's what you do when you don't want people asking the next question. And this right here is how regular people react.
Sheila-McCormick, a Democrat representative of the House of Representatives, caught stealing FEMA funds, $5 million in contracts, her and her brother, and COVID-19 relief money. Now I want to see what the Democrats got to say about that. Let's get the ball rolling. It's time to pull the cover off the Democrats for the 4 years that they had the government. While they were out here crying about President Trump and trying to still make him look bad and he ain't doing nothing bad. Let's see how the Democrats cry when they find out all on 4 years they representatives were stealing money.
They're not going to care. They're going to try to protect their own. They're not going to care. This right here, I tell y'all, this normal people going to see this. No talking points, no media training, just straight to the point. Like, seriously, you took money from struggling people? That's a different... And then flipped it into politics. That's what he said, but... yeah, that's the part that you can't spin because, you know, you can argue policy all day, but when it sounds like relief money turned into campaign fuel, come on. They don't debate that. They feel it. Now, watch this.
Well, this is Congresswoman Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick, who was recently elected in the 2022 election cycle. She actually won a special election before then being elected to a full term in the 2022 general election. And we don't know specifically what the House Ethics Committee is looking into. They're normally very private about these probes. But what we do know is that the committee has unanimously voted to form an investigative subcommittee that will look into these allegations of campaign finance violations. And they do list a number of specific things that they're going to look into, including improper use of campaign finance funds, also the possibility that there was someone volunteering for her campaign that didn't specifically work for the campaign or work for her official office. And while we don't know specifically what they are investigating, we do know that there have been questions raised about how Congresswoman Cherfilus-McCormick used campaign funds, or I'm sorry, not campaign funds, but taxpayer funds to actually pay for ads that ran in her congressional district leading up to her election. Now, it's not illegal for a member of Congress to use taxpayer funds to create TV ads that are used for informational purposes, to inform members of her constituency about the work she's doing as a member of Congress. But if those can be interpreted as campaign ads, it could lead to a violation of campaign finance laws. So this is an investigation that's in its early stages, but it is notable that both Democrats and Republicans have moved to this stage of forming this investigatory committee committee. And Richard, you'll remember a similar committee was formed in the investigation of Congressman George Santos. They ultimately released that scathing report, which led to him ultimately being expelled. No one's talking about this quite yet for this member of Congress, but it is notable that they've decided to take this very important step in terms of an investigation into potential campaign finance violations.
This ain't even new. It goes back. Investigations, committees, questions about money moving funny. And every time it's the same energy. Let's just look into it. But here's the problem. When the smoke never stops, eventually, people stop asking if there's a fire. They start asking, hey, how big is it? Now, here's that it gets shaky.
Breaking news, House Ethics Committee found a South Florida Congresswoman, Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick, committed 25 ethics violations.
And this comes after Cherfilus-McCormick spent 7 hours in a rare high-pressure meeting on Capitol Hill on Thursday. The Congresswoman refused to answer our crews on her way out. The Democrat is facing more than 24 charges for alleged misconduct, and the charges include accusations that she stole millions of dollars in FEMA COVID-19 relief funds and funneled the cash into her campaign for Congress in 2021. Cherfilus-McCormick is also facing a federal indictment for the same alleged activity. She's fiercely denying any wrongdoing.
I bet you are. You know, because now we're not just talking about rumors. We're talking about details. You got money moving through companies, family ties, loans that don't look like loans, reports that don't add up. And as messy as it is, you also got to give it credit for, it being structured. This is the kind of situation where everything technically looks clean, but when you step back, it ain't really clean at all. And now we are here.
A sitting member of Congress is now facing serious consequences after both a criminal indictment and the House ethics ruling. So Representative Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick was indicted on charges including fraud, money laundering, and illegal campaign contributions. At the center of the case is about $5 million in FEMA funds that were mistakenly sent to her family's healthcare company during COVID-related contracts. Prosecutors say instead of returning the money, she and her brother kept it and moved it through various accounts using portions for campaign and personal expenses. She's pleaded not guilty and the criminal case is still ongoing, but now there's a second development. A bipartisan House Ethics Subcommittee found her guilty on 25 out of 27 violations tied to the same conduct. That's triggering new calls for expulsion. Several lawmakers have already said they would vote to remove her from Congress, but it would take a 2/3 vote to actually happen. And, knowing Democrats, that's very likely not going to happen. So she's been indicted, has not been convicted. The situation is still fairly fluid, so I'll work to keep you guys up to date as this develops, but that is it for now. Don't forget I have a free email newsletter. I send that out every morning around 7 a.m. Central. The link is in my profile. Click that link, drop your email in, hit subscribe, and you'll be good to go.
And now we are here. Indictments, ethics violations, expulsion talks. This is what happens when a situation outgrows the narrative protecting it. Because once it hits this level, man, you can't you can't hide behind headlines anymore. Come in, baby. Come in, Katie. My daughter just got here. Go over to tell her to come in. But yeah, like I said, now it's numbers and now it's records and its consequences. And this is where the temperature changes.
Jim Jeffries was asked today if Democrats would whip against a censure or an expulsion resolution if that were to come to the floor in the coming days. He didn't even answer the question. He just said, next question. What do you think that says about where Democrats' leadership's head is on
Well,
this?
The Ethics Committee is the only committee in Congress that's evenly split between Republicans and Democrats. So if the committee, in a bipartisan manner, recommends an expulsion, that puts the Democratic caucus in a very tough position because you would be undermining your own members on the Ethics Committee. So it's taken a long time, but I'm going to let that process work itself out. So she has the opportunity to be heard. She has an opportunity to present countervailing evidence, and the Ethics Committee has the opportunity to present the evidence that's underlying the basis of the complaint and then the criminal complaint. And the committee will make a determination. And once that is made public, what the committee votes on, I will move the floor to expel.
And anything else that you think would be important for our viewers to know as we go into this week?
No, I mean, you're in a situation where you have a sitting member of Congress who's allegedly stolen over $5 million in taxpayer funds. She should immediately resign instead of going through this process. But if she's going to force us to do this, more information will come out than what otherwise would have come out.
Like I said, so with that temperature, it gets real different because now it's not just decisions, it's action. People saying, hey, if this is true, you shouldn't be here. Not investigated, not corrected, gone. That's when you know it's serious. Real serious. And now, the defense.
I look forward to my day in court so I can prove myself and actually state the truth. But if this is what Congress is becoming, where they're always trying to intimidate you, scare tactics, especially attacking minorities, black and brown people, then we're going to have to keep fighting for the district. And everybody has been giving me so much support, and we're going to keep fighting until the district gets what it needs, which is fair prices, housing, and fair representation of Congress.
Everything. I always got to go to the race car. I always got to be. This is where everything either lands or falls apart completely. Because once you shift the conversation away from the facts and then the identity politics, people notice. Not because they picked the side, but because they're watching the direction. And when the direction just keep on. Right, check. Okay, there we go. My fault. But I was trying to say when the direction, after it keeps changing, people stop listening and they start deciding. So this was never about one clip. Not the ring, not the reaction, not even the indictment. I think it's about what happens when every piece starts pointing the same way. Because at some point, it stops being a story and starts being a conclusion. So, I don't think it's a coincidence, but if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to put coincidence, ? Sarcastically. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.